Boom.
Hi lovely people, we are here for the 16th edition of Guru Talks podcast. The world meets here in Bali, and today, as we are in a tropical island, it's raining, but that doesn't stop us to be here. And for today we have a lovely guest with us. Her name is Fena Evans. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me here.
You
It's
are
our
amazing.
pleasure. It's our pleasure.
It was nice to speak with you last time in your place.
Yeah. Yeah.
We are going to talk all about the foundation, whichever it's the head of the foundation. This is the R.O.L.E Foundation that creates program like Bali WISE. This is a very specific program that permits to give education to young Indonesian girls, and this is very important because it empowers them. So, Francisco, hi.
How are you? We are still around, yeah?
We are still here, still alive
We
and
don't give
kicking.
up. We don't give up.
Man,
Go on,
we don't
go
give
on.
up. We go on, we go on. Fena, once again, thank you for joining us. So this podcast is all about you, your life, your work field, and we are going there very soon. But first, I want to start with your roots. So tell me, where do you grow up, and how was your upbringing?
My roots and where did I grow up? So I actually grew up in a few different places. So I come from Solo, which is Central Java, and my family. I grew up in a religious family where I remember every Sunday, after church we always do some activity together where often my father, my dad, and my mom, they would bring us to slum houses, or we go to the places where people live under the bridge, and we give them food, or we help them to give we collect our clothes and everything. So we did a lot when I was childhood in that. And as we move from one city to another city, or one village to another village, I also remember the time when I was at school. We were in a rural area. We lived there for 2-3 years, and it was so undeveloped area where me, my brother, and my sister, we were the only students that wear shoes to school.
Wow.
Wow.
And we were the only students that bring bags to school. So it was often that every day when we go to school, we were like having to wear shoes was kind of like exotic, and it is often that they would borrow our shoes. So I wear my shoes from home to the school, and then as soon as I arrive at school, my friends would, "Can I borrow your shoes?" Because they
never
don't-
experiment.
No, they don't. So I was like, yeah, okay, gladly. So I was running around with only socks, and then one will wear my left shoes, and then the other one with the right shoes, and then they swap that every half an hour, and then so like it can be like 10 people wearing my shoes on that day, because they want to try.
Yes.
And same with my sister and my brother. So you can imagine, like after 1-2 weeks, my shoes, or 1 month is like
Ruined.
total.
But for a good cause, because you
Yeah.
already, your
Yeah.
character was there, because you are a lovely and sharing person,
Yeah,
so
but-
you are sharing your goods with the others.
True, and it is good to see that they're happy, even with only the right shoes or running around, and I was only with the socks. It's good to see that they're happy. And then I talk to my family, because we always share what we're doing and this and that, and then we come up with an idea that, okay, why don't we collect used shoes and bags, and then we share to the kids at school. So I didn't remember how we did it, but one day we come with a really big box of shoes and bags. We brought to schools, and everyone was like, digging, and then every single person in that school, they wear shoes. So that is one thing that I remember from childhood, and I come from a family where even though we are not rich, but my parents teach us, how to share. You don't have to have a lot of money to be able to help other people, and that's how we, and those are only one example of many,
And that's your real roots. That's where you
Yeah.
just build your personality, right?
Yes.
It comes from your mother and father.
Yeah, and also I remember last time, especially during Christmas, I remember this is kind of something that I will never forget, because Christmas, everyone normally we have lots of food on the table. We cook so many food that we actually do not, end up most of them throw away because like overfood. And but that time I remember we had an agreement with my brother, my sister, and my parents. We would have our normal food with one additional special dish for Christmas, and then the money that we have for other food we allocate to cook and make nasi bungkus to give to homeless people. So I remember those days on the Christmas Eve. We would go on a bicycle. We set a map where we would go. Like my sister, and me and my dad, we would go in different direction, and my brother and my mom would go into different direction, and then we meet halfway. And then during Christmas dinner, we would share on the table, and then we share how was it, with the experience, and then we tell story how we give and how do they react, because we also wrote like a small letter that, because it is not fair that we only celebrate Christmas while there are so many other families, they don't even eat. So that is one thing that,
Wow.
that's something.
That's your memories
Quite
when you
interesting.
were young.
Yes.
You were already in the family having this beautiful kind of mood to help others.
Yeah.
And for you, it's a natural thing. You
Yes.
don't see it as awkward. It's
Yeah,
normal.
yeah, because that is something that I grow up with.
Yeah. So it leads me to the second question. So you are doing work on, you know that education is crucial in Indonesia, and I presume it's not easy to graduate here. I mean, you need to pay; it's expensive, especially for young women. That I don't know what was the religion you were under in your family.
Catholic.
Catholic
Yeah.
or Protestant?
Protestant.
Protestant. Yeah, but you have more freedom there, a little bit. It's a little bit different. But in general, women in Indonesia, they are seen as they should stay home, being married, having kids, not having independence, I would say professionally speaking,
Yeah.
to have a career, have a job, and develop their lives with independence. How do you see the role of women in Indonesia today, comparing with the time you started seeing it in your village and doing your thing? You see that
Yeah,
things are different?
yeah, there is a difference. There certainly things are better because the government, Indonesian government, they're also pushing to make sure that everyone, every single person in Indonesia, they have access to education. But there are also many people, young women especially, in rural area, where many of the society they see that women, they see women only in a traditional role, mostly in the rural area. In a big city, in Jakarta, in Yogyakarta, or in Bali, in a more city area, it is common that girls they go to higher education. But in the rural area, mostly the society would expect once they're 17 they would rather they would get married, or especially in a poor family or financially challenged family, or in a large family with inability to provide food. There is a tendency where they try to get rid of their daughter as soon as they can. It means because
get rid, in your perspective, is getting married and having a family.
Yeah, getting married, or get them leave the house, because
it's expensive, right?
Expensive, and when one person leaves, it means that less individual to feed. And also there is a paradigm or still way of thinking where when the girls are getting married, they will be taken by other family. They will live with their husband, and they will, have children.
They
and
will not
cook
be
on
a
whatever.
burden anymore.
Yeah,
They will survive.
Yeah, so there is no need to invest education on girls, because at the end of the day, they will be taken by the family. They will live with the husband. So there is many that they think still have the way of thinking. But I see things differently. I see education is very important because, and that is, by having that way of thinking, it's also reduced the opportunity of women to have a training or employment, which leads into high percentage of women, I'm talking about women in particular, to work in an unskilled employment, and also for them to have, at risk of being trafficked. Trafficked.
Wow.
Yeah, because if they cannot find a job, if they don't have any skills,
They need to survive other ways.
yeah, they need to survive. Either they work as a sex worker, or they work in another country as a domestic worker. And then there's so many I know and
Exploitation, yeah.
yeah, and I help a couple of people who experience being
This type of
abused.
abuse.
Yeah, abuse in other country, and they were in jail for 2 years, for something, and they cannot defend themselves. They cannot fight for themselves because they're uneducated. They do not know what.
And in a foreigner country is even worse.
Exactly.
How do you feel yourself seeing this reality, your reality, being raised in a Protestant family, helping others, you had shoes to go to school, the others did that. You feel like somehow a little bit privileged? When I say this, there is no kind of biased kind of statement. What was your feeling?
My feeling is, of course, I'm grateful that I'm in a better position, and for me, that's also unfair that these women, they have to experience that. And with me being able to, I'm grateful that I have access to education, that I have loving family, that I have food every day,
Of course, you don't reject what is good.
Yeah, and what I'm trying to do is I would like these people, these other women, to have the same opportunity as I do, because everyone deserves a good education, everyone deserves to have a good quality.
And that's
life.
what you are striving for.
Yes.
And you, regarding your education, so you did a degree on hospitality.
Yes.
Right? And back in those days, so you finished your degree and you had to choose a place for your internship. And then that's where R.O.L.E Foundation, which is an NGO based in Bali,
Yeah.
appeared. Why did you choose the R.O.L E Foundation? What is the philosophy behind this foundation?
Yeah.
Can you explain to our audience?
Oh, so you were a student inside R.O.L.E Foundation? Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, Francisco,
No.
you didn't do your homework.
Actually, I was not a
Just
student.
internship.
Intern.
That means
Actually,
you are working there supporting the foundation.
yeah, I was actually more volunteering than internship. So
Volunteer.
You're giving
internship.
help for free almost, yeah?
Yes. So what I did was I studied in Bandung, and I did my internship in actually one of the five-star hotel in Nusa Dua. And that was my first internship. So I did 2 times internship. My first internship, I was working in the kitchen, worked from 7 in the morning until 3 in the afternoon. And then from 3 in the afternoon, I helped at the R.O.L.E Foundation, and I was 19 years old at that time.
19, very young.
So I started because that was kind of my first time in Bali, and I didn't really have many friends or whatever. So while I did my first internship at the 5-star hotel, I was thinking, okay, I need to do something for my spare times. And then I Google, and then I find R.O.L.E Foundation. So I just walk, and then hello, I would like to help in whatever I can, So I was 19. I didn't really have certain skills, but I started with cooking for the students and for the staff. I washed the dishes, and all those things that I can do physically, that I can help, I did it. And then after 6 months, finished my internship at the 5-star hotel. I went back to Bandung, but still I was volunteering at R.O.L.E Foundation. So I spent 3 days in Bandung, and then 4 days in Bali for the whole many months. And then one day, before I graduate, Mike, who was the founder, he talked to me, because after I started with very basic thing that I did, cooking and cleaning or whatever, and then I start looking into their the recruitment process for the students, and then the program, and also help with the fundraising event. So I would start building up, and I remember that day, just 2-3 months before I graduate from my college, Mike told me that he might, because at R.O.L.E Foundation we have 2 different programs, the women's program and the environmental program. And the reason why he started this organization, because of his passion with the environmental program. And that time, we have struggle and always struggling with the financial and the staff and resources and everything. So he talked to me and he said, Fena, I think we have to close the women's program. Yes.
Which you didn't like that much. The
No,
idea.
I did not. It was back in 2014, I think early 2014. And then I said, why, Mike? And he said, yeah, because we don't have the money, we don't have the resources and this and that. And then I was like, wait, but look at how many,
Girls you are
women
helping.
that you have been, that you have helped through this program. And if we're closed, and if who's going to
Help
help
these girls.
them
And two of
again?
them are there working here.
Yes, yes. And he said, but we don't have money, Fena, and this and that. And then I said, look, Mike, I study hospitality for 6 years. I'm going to graduate in the next 2-3 months.
Yeah.
If you can wait, I'm going to help you with the Bali WISE program. And then he said, are you sure you can do that? I was like,
Yeah.
well, I don't know if I can do that, but I can try. And then he said, okay, all yours, knock yourself out.
So you were going to raise money as well to support the women's project.
Yes. So I did.
That's very brave from you. Huh?
Yeah,
How
that-
old were you when you decided that?
When I said that, I was 21.
21.
Yeah, I was
So
21.
just 3 years after you went as a volunteer, right?
2 years.
2 years.
2 years.
2
2
years.
years after I was volunteering that. So, and that was kind of like impulsive decision because I didn't really think through. And then I come home, I take a shower, and I was like kind of regret, like, oh, sure, what did I say? Are you sure? But but I do not really regret. That was one of the big decision that I ever made. And since that day, I started looking into the legal, working on the registration for the organization, and then working on the recruitment, because in that time, even we provide education for free. We provide 3 times meal, accommodation, education, everything. We even give them the allowance. Still, many people, they don't believe that, in our program. It is, for them, it is too good to be true, especially when we come to rural area. They think that, why is it only women? Why do
When,
Maybe they had like
Yeah.
second thoughts about
Yeah.
it. Maybe it's not so good, something different. Yeah?
something is
Suspicious.
suspicious because provide free education. They give food.
Too good to be true.
Yeah, too good to be true. And why there's so many, I'm not trying to be, racist, or so many white people coming in and out in that place, and, so stay away of that place and this and that. So learning from that, I start to, work with the government, with the local NGO, try to build,
The confidence.
trust.
Is it difficult to get support, financial support?
Financial?
Yeah, you are trying also to promote
Yes.
that. Yeah.
Oh,
People don't like to give money away.
No, many people, they like the idea of helping people, but when it comes to helping people, it sounds witchy-witchy. It sounds fluffy and happy, but at the
It's
end
a lot
of
of
the
work.
day, there is a lot of costs that need to be paid.
Yes,
and
of course.
even some people, when they give, when they donate something, they would like to go towards the program, and then sometimes but we have sub-salary that we need to
Yes,
pay, and
of
we have to
course,
pay
of
for the
course.
building and the
And the
legal,
light, the electricity, the water, everything.
Yeah. So yeah, it's always.
So how was Mike, the founder of R.O.L.E Foundation? He had a big impact on you, yeah? So can you tell us a little bit how you worked with him? How was this relationship? How it went?
How did you inspire each other?
Yeah, how that worked? Because obviously you inspire him not to stop the women's project, yeah?
Yes.
And
yes.
then?
So, I worked quite a long time with Mike, 9 years, and we fight a lot, of course. We have a different opinion, and he wants to do it this way, and I want sometimes I think this doesn't make sense, Mike, and we have to do it this way because so we're always fighting. But one thing,
Not easy ride, yeah?
yeah,
Working with a man, being the boss is not easy, yeah?
no, not easy. But we find
A balance.
A
But
balance.
he
So
respected you for sure,
yeah, so we have to divide, very
clearly.
clear.
Where's the line?
Yeah. So he will focus on the environment program and all his team, and then I will focus on the women's program and all my team. Anything you want to work with my team has to go through me, otherwise, So we find a ways how to work
How
together.
many girls you have there training at a time?
Sit-
Like, how many girls you have now there in your training?
Every year we educate 120.
Wow.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, 120 girls. So every day we have around 60
So a
because
lot
we
of
do.
money to support this physically, yeah?
Yeah.
with the electricity, and the rent, and
Yeah.
the sheets, and the laundry. We know here because we have guests, but they pay the bill.
Yeah.
Very small at this moment, because we have all these kind of
Yeah.
tourists. But is a very big financial effort to maintain this program?
Yes and no. Actually, we with 120 girls, it costs us around 3 billion rupiah per year.
Per year.
Yeah, for
Per year.
everything, for all the costs.
Everything.
So for one girl, it's around 18 million something to
A
18
year.
per 6 months. One girl, because we provide
Because
the
the
6
program
months.
is 6 months, of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah.
So the year is 6 months in fact. I mean, they are there in
Yeah,
6
for
months.
for 6 months only. Yeah. So me and Mike, we work together, we fight together, we fight a lot, of course, but at the end of the day, when things are tough, we support each other. You know, like there are days when he wants to give up, and then no, Mike, we can go through this. Or one day when I made stupid mistake because I was so young, and sometimes he say, Fena, you better do this. And no, I think, and then I made a mistake, and then he was, of course, all right, you're learning and this and that. But you know, so we support each other, and it was, and I'm very grateful to work
Of course.
with him. And one thing that I remember from him before he passed away 2 years ago, he told me that I'm going to leave soon, this earth soon, and and this is going to be a responsibility now. But whatever you do, be like a duck. This was like 3
Like
days,
a duck.
like a duck. Yes. Don't ask me why, because I also do not know why. But this was 3 days before he passed away. Yeah, there was the moment before he, going to coma. He told me, I want you to be like a duck. You know, you stay, whatever happened, this is not going to be easy for you, but whatever happened, you need to stay calm on top. Be like a duck, you stay calm on top, but you pedal like hell underneath. So
On the surface, you always look calm
Yeah.
and, just be balanced. But then below
are
the
moving.
surface, you're always
you
Always
have
work.
to,
Always
you
moving.
have to work really hard because this is a big responsibility and this and that. And I said, okay, Mike. Yeah. So that was his last, thing he said, before he passed
So
away.
how is dealing with so many girls?
How?
Yeah, it's not easy.
Oh my God.
Managing the girls.
Yeah.
You never manage guys, it's more the girls, yeah?
Yes, which I think is more complex. More complex, because girls always drama happening, and especially they come from very different backgrounds. Some of them they have trauma, some of them they've experienced
of course.
abuse, and the way they interact, it's also affecting how they interact with other friends, how they participate in the program and this and that. So there's always, when you're helping them, you're also dealing with, their baggage kind of thing.
And
So-
it's important also to understand because you deal with all this pressure, you deal with all these girls and all this, financial imbalance, everything. But how do you deal with your inner self? Meaning, how Fena arrives home, put this all behind her back, and
Alone.
relax. How do you do it these days?
I try, and what I normally do is I get up early, before 8 or 9. So I get up around 5 or 6, and then I did yoga. I went outside because I live up on the hill, and I can see the sunrise, and I can see the
In
ocean.
Nusa Dua?
In Nusa Dua, yeah. So, and I have no neighbor. That's the best
That's
thing.
good.
Yeah. So it's nice and quiet. It's very peaceful. I woke up and then I did yoga. Even though it's only like 15-20 minutes, I do yoga and then I do something that makes me happy. I also take half an hour or 1 hour online course, and then I did something that before I help other people,
You have to help yourself. Make
myself,
yourself feel
but there are
balanced.
days when I sometimes I'm feeling kind of exhausted and I need a break or whatever. I just simply go for a long walk at the beach or go out for a paddle, or sometimes I go to the forest to hike the mountain, and we're surrounded by trees and there is no signal, which is a good thing. So just
No internet.
simply no internet, just simply disconnect for a while and
That's
just
good.
exist and then enjoy the nature and just try to recharge my
Of course, that's
battery.
very important.
Yeah.
To make yourself feel at ease
Yes.
with yourself. I'm going to, before Francisco, so we can catch up please, because we kind of jumped
I
into your
jumped and
question.
I made questions from others. Now it's normal here.
Okay, after you go to this one, but before I'll ask this, because this is an important question that I would like to ask you. So I'm sure you heard a lot of stories during these years regarding life stories about these girls. Some for sure inspiring, some for sure troubling. Can you share with us one or two examples of stories that you really felt like touch your heart? Even sometimes can be in a you
Yeah.
know, strong way.
During this pandemic, I learned that as many or few of my, the graduates, they only work part-time or not full-time, especially those who work at the hotel. They have more free time. And then often I receive the feedback from them. They contact me, even after like 7 years they graduate, they reach out to me through social media and they ask, Miss Fena, I would like to help this particular village. And what can I prepare and this and that. So this is something that really kind of touched my heart, because in this situation, in this, during this pandemic where everyone is struggling, and even though they don't have full income, they still want to give something. So even though it is not money, they can collect the second-hand books, or they teach how to plant vegetables. Or the last thing we did is these graduates, they reach out to me, they form a group, the alumni group, where they raise money. They choose, so they form a group. They have a board member, with 5 different girls, and they choose the project, which kind of project they would like to support. And recently with the earthquake that happened,
It was
So-
just like last week.
no, it was
the
Karangasem.
eruption. Oh, I'm thinking about the eruption.
no, not the eruption, the earthquake that happened. Was it last few weeks ago?
Okay.
In Karangasem. It
Yes,
was like
yes,
6
yes,
point
yes.
something, and there's so
Big
many.
already.
Yeah, it was so many houses that was
They were destroyed.
destroyed and everything, and there were so many stray dogs, that was injured, and they're So this girl, they come up with idea. Okay, we are going to have a foundation. That was also the day when we lost our 2 dogs. So in Bali WISE, we also rescue dogs. We rescued 22 dogs because the girls, they keep bringing the dogs, and the volunteers and this and that. I keep telling
So
them,
you have
no.
22 dogs in your place?
We did, but over the time so I have to give a policy that only 1 dog per year.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
otherwise it's too much to
can
handle.
you imagine 22 dogs
Plus
with
the girls.
60 girls and 22 staff, and trying to run the program and raise money and this and that?
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Sometimes
You
it
have to
feels
prioritize.
crazy.
You have to
Yeah.
prioritize.
So being the girls, learning that the girls during in these hard times, that they can give something back to the community, and they gather. They gather 300 kilos of dog food, and then they donate it to other foundation. They feed the dogs, and those are one of the projects that they do, to help the community. So it is, for me, it is beautiful things to see.
Because they were helped,
Yeah.
and then they feel like they need help. That's the chain of
Yes.
Of helping that is really
Yeah.
So how do you
powerful.
feel your connection with the girls that finish the degree, that finish the studies? Are you still in touch with them? Like we have Yaru and Cynthia here.
Yes.
So you still connect with
Yeah.
with the students,
Alumni, yeah.
even though you already, the program is finished, or
Yes.
there is this love connection with the
Yeah.
with the foundation.
Yeah, we do. Even some of them, once they graduate, we never heard from them. We have also students like that, but most of the students, they still, connect with us. We still have WhatsApp group. They still involved in our event. So when we have an event, they reach out to us, and is there anything that we can help? Or last time, Yaru and Sinta
Yes.
and other girls, they also involved in our,
Activities for the weekend, yeah,
for the
I remember.
weekend with the staff, and yeah, it makes them, because they always be part of the R.O.L.E Foundation. I kept telling the girls once they graduate, this always,
Yeah, and you need to spread the word, right?
Yes,
The
yes.
education is important.
yeah, yeah.
So this leads me to the other question, which the situation as it is right now. So hospitality was one of the most hit industries with COVID that suffered the most and still suffer.
Yes.
And to be honest, we don't know for how long. It doesn't seem like it's going to end very soon.
Yeah.
And Bali was very severe attack with this pandemic because Bali was all about tourism, right?
Yes.
And your foundation is preparing these girls to enter into these hotels, five-star hotels, mainly in Nusa. So my question is, how are you surviving now? And what is the situation? What are the measures that you have implanted to, overcome this situation, this crisis?
Yes, and as you say that hospitality is the strongest, tourism is the strongest in Bali, but also the most affected industry. So during this pandemic, in order for us to be able to run our program, we have to adapt. We have to adapt, and we used to. First of all, we used to take 120 girls per year, but because of the current situation, we can only take 46, 56 girls per year. Yeah, which is fine if we have money to educate 120, we would educate 120.
They get jobs afterwards because there is no job.
There is job, but we are limited. So in order to do that, that's why we do not really take so many students, because first, we do not really have the money to educate them, and second, there is no market. As a hospital, unless we have to go to other island or other things. So what we're doing is we reduce the number of the students that we take, and we focus only in the area of Bali. And in terms of after they graduate, we try to help them to find an employment, not only in the hospitality industry, but also other industry, to get them job.
Other industry, like
fashion, and some of them they work as
textile industry.
Yeah, like
But producing clothes?
more into like a boutique. So
Boutique, working in
administration,
shops.
yeah, administration, sales. Also, they work in a notary.
Notary, like
yeah, translation.
that's
Yeah,
administrative
administration.
kind of work,
Yeah, yeah.
Because it's maybe people who are not into hospitality, they don't know, but hospitality is very wide.
Yeah.
Wide. I mean, you have a lot of skills when you work in hospitality. You have to be public relationship. You have to understand about marketing. You have to understand about human resources. You have to understand about accounting. So that's so much.
Yeah.
Language.
Yeah, it is.
So even they graduate in R.O.L.E Foundation, give the formation in hospitality, they have the skills to work in other industries. That's what you're trying to do,
Exactly.
which is very smart.
Yeah, yeah, and we also try to offer additional training that also give them better employment options. So at the moment, I'm still exploring the potential courses, hairdressing, because everyone is
Adjusting.
Yeah, so I'm working with one of expert organization to provide additional training for this Bali WISE students, to give them, when they, not only in the hospitality, but also we give them the equipment if they want to start their own business, all the skills and the marketing skills and everything.
So to make this a reality there, having a foundation, you need a lot of financial support because it doesn't come from home.
Yes.
The money doesn't grow on trees, I heard.
It is true.
Actually, there's a joke I will tell you in the end which is related with that. A joke that my father did with friends of his friends and kids. They would, pennies, they would buy, change money in pennies with plants during the night with the kids, and then they would go like one penny, and they would go to sleep, and next day they would put all the thousands of pennies and say, look, the tree is giving money.
Well,
So
I wish it
this is
worked
not the
that
case,
way.
yeah?
I wish it worked that way, but
You will be very
unfortunately.
rich.
So we are going to plant a penny tree there.
Yeah.
Well-
We have some pennies.
Well, I have 40 ara. I will plan.
Now let's go.
Great.
Maybe that's the next step. Yeah? But obviously, this brings you a lot of work and effort. So, what did you learn with this experience of Because you are not begging. You are doing an amazing, honest, clear work. You are saying, I need help. This actually is a good thing. You are helping these people. And people, and some companies, they have some money allocated to donate, yeah? Companies and foundations or whatsoever. So what was your experience in this field? How did you live all these years now? Many you are, asking for financial support now?
Yeah, during this pandemic, many business they try to survive themselves, and we experienced that many donors they discontinue their support because they're closed or whatever. But I learned from the situation. I was like, okay, should I close this foundation and this and that and blah blah blah. But then
You almost gave up.
almost. But then I sit down and then I think, okay, in this situation, what can I do? I'm trying to find something that what can I do with what we have, where I am, And then I start seeing, okay, I live in a property of 40 area, quite big, and so I can grow, for example, turmeric and ginger. So what I did, it was like in the early, of pandemic, and then I was like, okay. And I start taking the course of herbals and
Jamu.
Learn how to make jamu. And
We actually tried some jamu there. Was
I should
amazing.
You did try, right?
Yes, I did try.
So with that, I learned that okay, maybe I can make this. I got the recipe from my grandma. I tried like 13 times and it was like keep failing and this and that. But there was learning process for me. So I learned from very basic. I grow the turmeric, I grow the ginger, and and then it turns out to be a successful little project. Like a social enterprise.
And the girls are involved in this, yeah?
The girls they involved, they make the jamu. We sell the jamu. We sell to the hotel, to the cafes, and then to the
So
individual.
there is something that connects a real work that people can see.
Yes. Yeah, so during this, and it helps us,
Of course.
financially.
Sustain yourself.
Yeah, because we cannot really rely on the donor all the time. Of course, they play a big or
Role.
significant role in terms of our existence, because if we do not really have funding, then we cannot really help these people. But we are trying now to be, self-sustainable, to be able to, through our program, through all the products that we create, we are able to create our.
So some of your support is a very permanent one, yeah?
Yes.
You have like donators that are there since the beginning and they don't give up on that.
I hope they don't.
Yeah.
And also about that situation, I would like to ask you, because now that we are talking about COVID and how we can manage, and you are talking also going back to the roots, going back to the lands, right? Because we kind of disconnect from the lands these decades, we kind of leave it, right? Now we are forced to go back, which can be a positive thing. So my question to you, Fena, do you think, how do you see the tourist and hospitality future for Bali? Let's talk about Bali.
Yeah.
Do you think this is changed permanently and forever? Or do you think that maybe things will be revamping in a new way? What is your insights about this subject?
My insight is, for sure, traveling is no longer the same, not like how it used to. But I'm sure that the hospitality, they will go back. Like they will recover.
It will be the same?
It will not be the same. It will not be the same.
The same means not more or less, it's more the quality. You know what I mean, yeah?
Yeah, it could be, but even though if it recover, it will take, it will not be in the immediate term. It will take, can be like 5 to 10 years.
Yes.
But I think the tourism there will still,
Maybe
will go back.
less tourism, but maybe even more quality tourism, yeah? Maybe could happen.
Could.
Definitely not.
I
You
do
don't
not
have
know
a
that.
crystal ball.
No.
Nobody could guess we would be in this situation after 2 years almost.
Yeah,
Could you imagine that?
I cannot, and I can't even. I
Still
don't know how.
understand how this is not open yet. Yeah?
Yes, and I don't even know how I'm survived actually with my organization these 2 years. We all thought that the pandemic only lasts for
kill you.
3 months, right?
We are all striving.
Everybody thought about the same thing.
We are all ducks here.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't thought that, but I don't go there. So I'm going to ask you a question that touched me a lot. So you believe that love always wins? So when you do a project, you have two ways of doing it. You do it because you are based on making money, yeah, and support your lifestyle, and have your clothes, your car, or whatever people want to have. And then there are others, another kind of work that it's about supporting people. It's very much more human related. So I feel that this kind of work makes much more sense than just having a wage in the end of the month. Yeah? Which most of the people, that's what they do. Yeah, working to have a salary. So having this in mind, how you see yourself in the future with what you do, learn, having learned what you learn, giving so much love. Yeah, because many times you go home, it's about love. It's not about, you don't give up not because it's the money, because if it would be the money, you would give up already. You don't give up because you have the love and the charity inside yourself.
True.
So, how you see yourself in the future? Are you changing your paradigm or going straight the way you are?
I think I'm going to straight where
You are doing well, yeah?
where I'm.
You are aware and your consciousness is clear.
Yes.
What you do.
Of course, and what I'm trying to do is now also, and what I'm trying to pass on to our beneficiaries is that when they come, I always see my students or the women that we're helping as a candle. They come to us, we help to light their candle, and we teach them how to keep their fire. And when they go back into their village, they would light the candle of other people.
That's
That
beautiful.
creates the
chain.
impact, you know, the ripple impact. And I would like, and my dream would be, even though I'm not going to go anywhere, I'm going to be with this organization, but by lighting the candle of others when they go back to their village, to their family, which all they need to do is to lean a little bit, you know, by leaning it means helping other people, then I wish, and my dream would be that one day my organization is no longer needed. If you know what I mean.
That's
One day I do not need
You don't need to be there to help others because people
Yeah.
are just
They already
doing what
have
they
the
need.
support.
Yeah. Imagine they go back to their island, to Java, to Flores, and they light the candle of others, and then, you know, they try to pass on it. But this is going to be the vision. This is the star where I would like to, you know, to head. This may not be in my generation.
I was going to ask you that.
Yeah, this may
But
not.
you are working for it.
I'm working for it, and I would like to.
You never know. Huh?
Yeah.
As things are speeding up these days, it's not only the crisis, it's the way you thought of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this brings me also for the last question with Fena. So how can we know more about R.O.L.E Foundation? How can we know more about Bali WISE program, educational program? How our audience can get in touch with your projects?
All right, it will be easy. Then you can just visit our website. You can support us by spreading or sharing what we do, what Bali WISE is doing through our website on social media, and to whoever, you know, women empowerment, you know, that is.
I have a question to the presenter.
Okay.
Why?
Why?
Is that off
She
the
is a
box?
resort manager for 15 years.
Yeah.
So you study hospitality.
Yeah.
You study in university in what we call the first country kind of quality of living. Yeah, Portugal, European country.
Yeah.
How you see her effort to maintain this goal?
Well,
I think it's a good question to do.
you know, being a woman, for me it's very important to find examples, role models of other women that, you know, they are inspiration and they do whatever they can do to support each other.
Yeah.
Because I think sometimes I feel, and I say this with a little bit of sadness, I feel that we women don't support as much as we do, as we should do, right? So providing education, providing tools and resources for us to combine and do beautiful projects is the future. Because we can do a lot for each other and for the community and for the planet.
Exactly.
That's what I feel like the real empowerment.
And that's how we make difference.
So you want to do a statement for people to help the R.O.L.E Foundation?
Yes, I want to do a statement for everybody that is listening and watching our podcast today.
All over the world.
All over the world. We are going to edit and then we are going to put it online. If you want to help, please contact us. We are going to have all the contacts below. And Fena, with the R.O.L Foundation, we are also going to provide you all the details about it.
And also during the editing,
Yes.
you are going to see all the plays and the girls studying and all
We are
that.
going to see live
See the reality.
all the videos so you can see the beautiful project of Fena. And thank you so much once again.
So help her not to
Thank
give
you,
up.
guys.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Send you love. Thank you for the
Thank you.
25 people here. We have 25, Pedro, Natania, and Yaru, and Tegar, and Cynthia, and everybody. Thank you so much.
Thank you.